All right, Chris Hagan back here with Craig Hill.
Hey,
Craig the Thrill Hill. Did you give yourself that name?
Ken Waller gave me that name.
Kenny Waller.
Yeah, I was complaining on the radio one day that we got all these guys on the radio. They got these great names, Ryan Reinheimer.
And that's his real name.
All those syllables, the Hammer, Reinheimer,
Right.
Matt West,
Right.
and then Craig Hill. It's like
Right.
you're clearing your throat.
Right.
I said I gotta come up with a cool radio nickname, and Ken Waller was there. I got it, Craig the Thrill.
Craig the Thrill
Craig
Hill.
Hill the Thrill.
Right.
And it stuck, and we've
There you go.
been rolling with it ever since. And I end all my broadcast with, this has been Craig the Thrill Hill, and now the thrill is gone.
The thrill is gone.
And I play a
love it.
little BB King there. So
Okay.
it's my outro music.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
It's fun. If
So-
you're going to be on the radio, you might as well have a nickname. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still think the K whatever, the public radio station in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They had Sylvester the Cat.
Yeah.
Or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
I know I just messed that up. But anyway, something like Sylvester the Cat.
Yeah, you got to have a name, man.
Yeah.
Radio name.
Something that people can remember you by because it's advertising, even though you're already in the advertising type business.
That's right. And I've been approached. I was getting my car worked on one time, and it came up that I worked at the station. They said, "Oh, what do you do?" I said, "Trading post and this and that." And she goes, "The Thrill." I said, "That's one of my greatest moments in my life. I got to tell you."
Okay, but you've done modeling.
Yeah.
I've been in lots of doctors' offices, and I've seen you.
Yeah, I'm definitely there.
I can honestly say I'll probably never be cast as a doctor. Maybe
Me either till I get a haircut.
You've been in TV and movies?
Yeah, I've been in over 200 different projects, that I can say I was in. A lot of them, just we live on your periphery. I'm a blue collar actor. You get your inserts in the newspaper. You see a guy
Right.
holding a ham at the holidays. Well,
Right.
I'm the goofball holding the ham.
You're the guy holding the hand.
And you can make a relatively good living doing that if you're willing to hustle and go find. And then I have
Right.
recurring jobs. We do around here. You do things like nurses training videos. A lot of that.
Yeah.
I've for the last 15 years, I've helped train police officers in crisis intervention.
Yeah.
I play a person in mental distress, and they film the officers dealing with me. And then we sit on a panel with psychologists the next day and go over how they could have done
Right.
a better job. It's teaching them how to respond to a crisis situation, someone in mental crisis.
Yeah, my very first Chris Hagan Experience videos wasn't a Chris Hagan Experience video at all. It was just me showing, because people would have a battery surge suppressor, and then the battery would go dead, and they would throw away a $400 battery surge suppressor. Well, all they needed was a $40 battery.
Right.
So I did it on YouTube on how to change the batteries, and I just saved you $350. And it was huge.
Yeah.
But everything is like that. So we had, I don't know if you remember the guy on Star Trek called Q.
Sure.
Okay, so we had a Hallmark store, and the actor that did Q would do stuff for Hallmark where he's talking about the new Christmas ornaments, and this is new for
Really?
Valentine's Day, because we're looking at this stuff, 11 months in advance. So he had to film it 3 months before that. So when you think of actors, you think of TV and movies,
Right,
but
right.
no, the
Okay.
most actors are doing all those other things.
Yeah, there's a lot of little jobs that you wouldn't even think about
No,
that we do.
and it's the biggest part of the industry.
Think
The
about-
directors,
Yeah, it
everything.
is. They're called, I can't think of the word, and it'll come to me
Yeah,
at
that's
3
fine.
a.m. and I'll call you and wake you up. But all the like. When
Don't send me a message. I have to explain it to my wife when my phone's going off.
Why
at
is
3
Craig Hill
a.m.
calling me? No, it's we do these like when you get hired for a company and you got to go through like all the orientation
Right.
and you got to watch all the films.
Right.
I've done so many of those.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So
Right.
just training videos,
Right.
goofy stuff like that you would only see if you were
Yeah, my daughter
proprietary stuff.
worked for an airline, and she had to watch videos. This is how you hook this up. This is how you turn on the heaters when it's 30 below zero
Right.
in the mountains so that the plane doesn't freeze.
All right.
So you're part-time now, and you let your hair grow.
I let my hair go.
Did I have any influence on you just letting your hair grow, or is
Well, let me ask you. Do you ever get tired of people asking you if you're Sammy Hagar?
not really.
Every time I posted a picture of you on
Not
Facebook,
really.
one of my friends says, "That's Sammy Hagar." No,
Yeah.
I grew my hair because I'm superstitious. I got
Okay.
a bout of cancer going on 2 years ago. I
2
guess.
years? It's been that long.
It's been about that long, yeah. And so I thought I was going to lose all my hair, so I decided, well, I'm not going to cut it until they tell me I'm 100% cancer-free.
Okay.
And that just happened not too long ago.
Well,
yeah.
congratulations.
All the tests, all the scans, all that stuff is all over with now.
Yeah.
I'm 100% cancer-free, and the doctor told me I've got about a 90% chance that it won't come back.
All right.
So it's time to cut my hair. Everybody would love it if I cut my hair.
No, not everybody. I can think of one guy.
There's two kinds of people. People that can grow their hair long and people that can't. And
Right.
we're lucky enough that we can grow our hair long. We don't have any reason that we can't do it. So
Yeah.
what the heck?
I got real depressed one time and I went into Fisher Brothers. My hair was probably a little longer than it is now. And I went in and I sat down. There was like 5 guys that were sitting there waiting to get their hair cut. And Gary's like, all right, what are we going to do? And I go, just shave it all off. I want to look like Howie Long. Just shave it all off. And, he's putting the apron on me. And the guy goes, don't you dare.
Don't do it, man.
And I had another guy go, what? He goes, no, you cannot cut his hair off. And another guy goes, no, you can't. You can trim it a little bit. So all these guys are like, no, you can't cut your hair. I'm like, what do you mean I can't cut my hair? And they're like, look at me.
Yeah.
If I could grow hair, I
Right.
would have hair longer than you. So really, you have things in your life that happens, good and bad. You got to kind of really pay attention and enjoy the good, and the bad, you just kind of absorb it.
I think you're right.
So,
I think you're right. Like Craig Luetkemeyer said, the head of Parks and Recreation, he said, if you can grow it, show it, bro.
Yeah.
So why not? Yep.
So what kind of cancer did you have?
I had throat cancer right up here.
Okay.
So that they had to do an operation there. It sidetracked me from the radio for quite a long time, over a year. And Kirk was gracious enough once I got better to bring me back and let me kind of resume where I was. And I'm working at a real slow pace now. It takes it out of me. I still don't have the energy or the strength in my throat that I used to.
Well, and you were always physically fit looking.
Yeah.
And now you've obviously lost a lot more weight.
38 pounds I lost.
Which you didn't need to lose 10 pounds. So losing 38 was
it was dramatic. And I'm about halfway back to where I need to be. But it's kind of fun being able to just eat whatever the heck you want to eat and as much. And I'll eat at like 9 o'clock and then go to bed and not worry about it. I'm hoping to put weight back on. I really am. Because people honestly
follow me around.
I had short hair. You knew me then.
Oh, yeah.
I had short hair and I was more full looking.
Oh, yeah.
Now when people see me, I have long hair and I'm more gaunt. They kind of it's kind of a jolt when they first see me. So.
Well, yeah, let's just round up to 40 pounds you lost, and like I say, you probably didn't need to lose 10.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
But at the same time, your body's been through a lot, so you don't want to gain it all back real quick.
No,
I
kind of maybe am going to go at a lighter weight, just kind of keep myself in a lighter weight. And I never did anything to really stop I got a good metabolism. I'm just lucky. I've always been a skinny guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much for me to lose weight.
So you went through chemotherapy and radiation?
They didn't have to do chemo. They just did radiation and the surgery.
Okay.
They chemo was the next step if they didn't get it all. And they did it, they scanned it, they got it all.
Okay. So was it considered stage 1, 2, 3, or 4? 3. Oh, really? Stage 3. So 3 means it was also someplace else, right?
It's getting ready. 4 means it's someplace else.
Okay.
It's getting ready to go someplace. It will go someplace else if they don't treat it. So it's important. And I found out just by going to the doctor one day, and we're talking like we always do, and he goes, okay, let's check you out. What's this? Went right, I mean, that's the first thing he did. He touched it. What's this? I said, I don't know. I didn't know there was something. Well, let's check it out. And it turned out to be cancer. So the moral of the story is go to your doctors and get that visit, and make sure he checks your lymph nodes, because that's going to tell a lot of the story that's going on. And thank God he did that, man.
I finally reached the age where they're doing a little bit more than touching your neck.
Yeah, they're going a little deeper, aren't they? So
I was sitting there having a conversation, and the rubber glove comes on. I'm like, what the hell's that for? Wait.
Hey, wait a minute.
Are you a dentist? Nope.
We were having a perfectly good conversation. You just ruined it.
Yeah, and then anyway. So, you get to that point.
Yeah, you should. It's great getting old, isn't it?
So, I tell everybody, my dad had cancer, and he's still alive. He had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. His lymph node was on his neck, and everybody could see the golf ball on his neck. Yeah. So it's very similar to yours, but non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he had all the chemotherapy, but no radiation.
Weird.
And no surgery. But the chemo worked on the first one. So anyway, I became an amateur oncologist at that point.
Sure.
And wow. Talk about, I mean, if you've got it, there's literally like an eyebrow cancer. I mean, there is different kinds of cancers in your eyes, sinus cavities. It just goes on and on and on and on. So you do reach a certain age. And guys, we don't pay that much attention to our bodies.
We really don't.
Know,
I never did until all this happened.
Well,
and you just consider I feel fine, so I must be fine. But,
so you were considering being a priest.
I was.
So you get diagnosed with cancer. You're a Christian. You're a man. you're a husband, you're a son, you're a brother, you're a father to a son and a daughter.
Right.
Did that affect your relationship with God anyway?
You think about those things. You think about all these deep philosophical things when you're staring the abyss kind of in the eye. I don't mean to be dramatic about it, but when you get told when you get told you have cancer, and you don't know that's coming, all the oxygen goes out of the room.
Right.
And it just so happened that there's a Catholic feast day called the Feast of St. Blaise, and they call it the Blessing of the Throats. That day happened right after I was diagnosed, and I hadn't gone to church in 2 years.
Right.
I showed up on St. Blaise Day, believe me, and it's not. It sounds like it's almost, I don't know,
a little
superstitious and stuff like that, but it's not. It's called a sacramental. It's just to get you thinking about St. Blaise and pray for his intercession, and he blesses your throats. And I'm not saying that's what got me out of this, but I'm not saying that it's not. So who knows? But you do think about those, like Warren Zevon said when David Letterman asked him, "Well, do you think of anything deeply philosophical since your diagnosis?" And he thought about it for a second. And he said, "Enjoy every sandwich, because." Enjoy every sandwich, because we're here for a short time and it's a party while we're here.
Right.
And we should be.
If you want it to be.
If you want it to be. Or you can go through life cloistered up.
Well, when they talk about free will, I think a lot of that's what they're talking about, free will. I can sit there and watch negative news all day long, like I'm in a prison cell, and that's my window.
Absolutely.
Everything on the planet is horrible.
Right.
It's disgusting. We should have never had children. Or you can actually go outside and go, wow, this is pretty awesome.
And I learned that. That's a valuable lesson. I turned off the news because it was making my blood pressure go up, and I took a walk instead. And my uncle told me, put on Turner Classic Movies instead of Fox or CNN or wherever you get your news from.
Right.
And I started doing that, and I feel like my blood pressure is a lot better than it was.
And it only takes like a week.
Really, it really does. And how does all that stuff that's going on affect me directly? Really doesn't.
It does. It affects your spirit. It affects your soul.
Yep.
And then you ooze that same. You're just giving out all that stuff that you're bringing in.
You're absolutely right.
And every TV station has a business like the radio station. Their business here is selling advertising, and they hit a nerve of getting a certain segment of the people to be outraged, and then you can't turn it off. And for people that are watching this, whether you're watching Fox or CNN or any of the other ones, Pavlov did a thing where he would ring a bell and then he would feed a dog, and he would ring a bell and he would feed a dog, and then he would ring a bell and the dog would just start salivating. So when they do that little thing at the bottom about breaking news or a news alert, that's the bell.
That's Pavlov.
And you're the dog.
Are you drooling yet?
And you do.
Exactly,
and they're
right.
very, very good at what they do.
And people go to the news that's going to give them the endorphins they want. If you're a real conservative, you go to Fox News, they tell you exactly what you want to hear. If you go to CNN, they tell you exactly what you want to hear. So you go, you're drawn to that.
Yeah, but it poisons your soul. It affects your relationship with really everybody around you, which brings me to the next thing. As an amateur oncologist, I have told everybody, and now I'll tell you, because you had cancer, cancer is harder on the people that love you.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Than it was on you.
My poor wife has been through it. I got to tell you, what a trooper. My God, got up, I couldn't work. Got up every day, took care of me, coming and going, made sure I was taken care of during the day, took off an extra day every week, and still went and made a living for our family.
And ran a business.
Ran her own business.
She was it.
Yeah, she's the Edward Jones broker right down here in Festus.
Right here in Festus.
Christine Hill. And I can't tell you, it's strengthened our relationship. And I'll tell you one thing I don't have time for anymore. It's negative people.
Right.
I really don't. There's just not enough time in my life. I've really extracted some of the negativity out of my life. There's just no time.
Not that you don't love those people.
I do, but this is a gift.
But you don't realize. And I brought people down. Believe me, when my business was failing, I brought everybody up. I grabbing strangers and bringing them down. I felt bad when that was going on. I really did. I hated to see that happen. Well,
but I knew you. I knew you were always going to land on your feet and have another iron in the fire.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I went from being loved by everybody to being hated by everybody because they could buy it on Amazon for 10 cents cheaper.
Right.
And it's like, okay, 10 cents? Are $5? Seriously? Yeah. This is going to end our relationship? relationship over that.
Yeah, I just.
But it happened to everybody all over the United States.
It's a shame. We want to patronize our businesses and keep this main street we have going, keep it rolling, you know? And it's a great main street.
Yeah, yeah. So how about your kids while you were having cancer? Because you got your kids are in that age where it's all me.
Yeah, my son stepped up. We saw a young man emerge from this out of my son. My daughter's moved out of the house since.
Okay.
So she's a little bit, and also I think she's trying to protect herself. I grew up with a mother who was sick all the time. You sort of put up a defense about you. You can't,
right.
You can't be, I couldn't, at least me, I couldn't be around that all the time. It just made me so infinitely sad. And then I'd get mad at her. I was mad at my mother for being sick, which was totally illogical. And I think my daughter went through a little bit of that. Didn't know what to do with it. Didn't know, she's got a big heart, and I think she was afraid her heart would be just totally broken if something would have happened to me. And we got a great relationship, and I think that's what she did. So she was sort of backed off a little bit.
Well, and that's where like a family therapy kind of comes in. Not that you did it or didn't do it or should or shouldn't have done it, but sometimes you just got to sit through. That's what I loved about the Catholic Church. My wife and I went to the marriage encounter.
Yeah.
And if you literally we're like, what's the matter? What's wrong in your relationship? And these people got huge problems. And they're like, what's the matter with your relationship? It's like our daughter won't sleep all night and she's got chicken pox. Literally people are like picking up rocks and throwing at
got no
us.
problem.
Yeah, we did not have any problems, but they were huge to us.
And sometimes saying them out loud, and you can realize, what? I'm upset about that. Even you to yourself, it seems like, well, this is ridiculous.
Absolutely saying it out loud.
Right.
And then having somebody say it back to you,
right? So,
makes you feel
a third party say it back to you. Makes you feel kind of dumb about some of it.
Yeah. So we got your wife and how she took care of you, which she always would have, but how you appreciated it where you might not have ever been able to appreciate it before.
Our relationship is stronger because of it,
Yeah.
and my relationships in general are stronger because of this experience. And I don't recommend it to anybody. I just say, consider every day a gift, because that's exactly what it is.
So, how old are you?
I am 57.
57. Is your mom and dad still alive?
My father's still alive.
Okay. How old was you when your mom, who was sick a lot, passed away?
My mom was 60 when she died.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
All right.
And my father married the lady who owned the funeral, Heilig Funeral Home.
Oh, yeah.
Norleen Bauer.
Yeah. Okay.
She lost her husband around the same time, and so thank God they found each other, and they have a beautiful relationship. And I'm glad for them. They're both very happy. Yeah, my mom died at 60. That was too young, but I'm glad that we had her as long as we did. She was a real, she was a saint.
And how old is your dad again?
My dad is 80, in his 80s now, 81, and in great shape, probably the best shape of his life, and that's because of my stepmother. She's got him up, got him walking. They're both like, come on, let's roll, and they're gone every day, and that's healthy, you know?
Right.
If you're up and moving, you're going to live longer. I just believe that, and they walk at Cliff Cave every day, or walk somewhere every day.
Okay.
So good for them. I'm very happy for them.
Any brothers or sisters?
I got a younger brother and an older sister, so I'm the neglected, misunderstood middle child.
You do not fit the middle child. To me.
Really?
To me. I mean, I guess I got to ask more questions about your childhood.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a 4.5-year younger brother, so we both fall into the firstborn category.
Okay, yeah, you do. Yeah,
so
separate.
Tracy Wicking, for those of you who remember, did you know Tracy Wicking from Comfrey?
Yeah, what a great guy.
Yeah, he actually would come to my store and we would do programs with our employees on birth order, because I was always big on birth order. I'm firstborn, my mom's the firstborn, my dad's the firstborn, and my wife is the fifthborn. So I would never date a girl that was firstborn, because I just figured it's just not going to work.
It's going to be the same. It's like marrying
like marrying yourself.
Yeah,
there can only be one hero in this story, and it's got to be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you and your wife opposites?
Oh, completely. I mean, she even wears her watch upside down. I mean, my little thing's here, her little thing's up there.
So
I mean,
opposite,
everything
100%.
about 100%.
Us too. My wife's a type A personality. I'm a type L or M or N.
Yeah, well,
way down
the
line.
middle child.
Yeah.
So your older brother, what's he do?
Younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah, he works for. You ever see that stuff? Sparkling ice in the stores. It's that water, the flavored water.
Oh yeah.
He's a big regional director of that. He sells that all over the quad state, 5-6 state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where does he live?
He lives in Baldwin. They're building
close.
a house in Eureka. He's married, and they're building a house in Eureka.
So, your cancer, did that change your relationship with him?
You know, It didn't really.
Okay.
We were close since we were little.
All right.
And he didn't come around much either. He went through the same life I went through with my mother, and I think you back yourself off from the pain a little bit.
And that's not a bad thing.
It's not, no.
Because he knows and you know that if I need you, you're there.
And then I got to tell you this, Chris. The amazing thing about it was so many people stepped up. I mean, so many people that I would have never thought in a million years. A friend named Dave, a coworker of my wife, did the most generous thing I've ever seen. I mentioned on Facebook, my doctor told me to eat, Craig. Keep the weight on so you don't have to get that feeding tube. He sent me $1,000. I'm not exaggerating. More than that, probably, of gift cards to restaurants.
Wow.
This guy, unbelievable. He's an Edward Jones broker too. Dave Hilster, what a great guy.
Okay.
And he's in Barnhart, and just people that I don't really know that well, just coming out of the woodwork, dropping off soup and dropping off books for me to read, and it really restores your faith, and it also makes you think, I don't have time for this negativity bull crap that's going on. I just don't.
Yeah, and similar things happen to me, not on that scale from car wrecks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What it did to me was make me realize how many people have I known that have gone through this, and I didn't do nothing for them.
I think about that all the time.
I mean, that was, it
Right.
was like,
Yeah,
I thought I
be a
was
better
hot
person.
stuff, and
Right.
now I'm nothing. Here's somebody I don't know, literally don't know, that baked me a dozen cookies,
Exactly right.
and I don't know how to repay somebody
Are
that
you?
did something for me. I don't want anybody to do anything for me. I'm like Elvis. I'm self-sufficient. I want to take care of everybody else.
Right.
And then when somebody does something nice for you, you just don't know. I didn't know how to. I don't know how to. Still don't know how to.
That's
do
your
it.
personality, right? That's your personality.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's been a grand and terrible experience.
Yeah.
And it's all part of this life. I mean, it's all just part of it.
LIFE, another 4-letter word.
And right on. And LOVE too. That works hand in hand with it. And that's the only two things you need.
Well, your sister, where does she live?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
She married a guy, a great guy, went to Windsor. Andy Jones. And he worked for Ford and got transferred.
I bet he was at the float trip that we didn't talk about on this.
I bet you he was. I'll bet you he might have been. So they moved with Ford to Kansas City, and that's where she lives.
She's up there.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I don't get to see her nearly enough.
Well, you got Zoom and FaceTime, and
Right.
I don't use that enough either.
I hate, and people FaceTime me. I do not answer it. I hate it. Every time I turn it on, I look like a gargoyle or something. I ain't doing no FaceTime.
Well, so here we go. We're doing a Chris Hagan Experience video. I've only watched one Chris Hagan Experience video, and that's the one I did with Norval Dollar
Yeah.
3 years after we did it.
Right.
Because I never even listened to my own radio ads.
Yeah.
Any of the stuff I did on TV.
It's strange, isn't it?
Well, how about you whenever you see your picture at the doctor's office?
You know what's weird? What's weird is like when you're in a commercial, when you got a speaking part like in a commercial or a movie or whatever. You know how you hate your voice when you hear it.
Hate
you
it.
hate the way you look when you see yourself on video too.
Right.
At least I do. I look at myself. I'm like, oh my god.
hands. I'm touching my hair. I'm picking
side,
my nose.
Is that what I look like from the side? Oh my god. I'm never turning around sideways again. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You look. It's just you never get used to it.
Yeah.
You never do.
Well, we never had the conversation about religion, and I'm thrilled to know that you had considered going to the seminary school.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're at the age where our friends start getting sick and our friends start dying.
You're exactly
And it's
right.
like, okay, I've been out with you. We've watched the sun come up. We've done stuff that was a lot of fun at the time, but we're not necessarily proud of
Right.
at that last moments of our lives.
Right.
But nonetheless, we were there. We did it. We were having fun. We took care of each other. But I'm now getting to that point where I want to start talking about religion to people. And I got to preach.
In what capacity?
At a church.
You mean more than you normally do?
At a church.
Did you really? Well, I think you'd be a charismatic preacher.
2 people got baptized.
Did on accident?
No, they came up on purpose because my sermon was, and this was several years ago, but my sermon was, hey, we're all human beings, and if you get baptized today, you're going to weigh the same exact amount tomorrow. You're going to be the same exact height. You're going to like the same TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to nothing really changes. There's an evolution on your thought process.
Mm-hmm. Nothing visible changes.
No. You're still gonna. I'm still gonna like pan pizza from Pogolina or from Pizza Hut. I'm still gonna like none of that stuff changes. The only difference is you've now started that evolution of trying to do the right thing and be more compassionate and caring and everything else.
Isn't it amazing what a different person you are now than you were say 15 years ago?
Oh.
Here's a way to measure that. Look back at your old Facebook posts. Look how dumb your old Facebook posts were. I look back, I'm thinking, I was an idiot back when I was posting this, and I was only
and it's
12 years
it's
ago.
everything that I see and everything that I've said. But going back to, you know, when we see our own pictures and stuff, and you made a living off of people seeing your picture and hearing your voice,
right,
and you still don't like it. And I'm sure, like we were talking about George Clooney, he probably doesn't like it either.
Right.
But you know, it's great that you were there because we'll be dead a lot longer than we are alive.
You're right.
And going back to the TV and the way we treat people because of what we put into our minds. And a lot of that, you know, comes from the churches. They like to preach the hate. My friend that just died was a minister.
Yeah.
And I went to his church before he passed away. There wasn't many people there. And I told him, I go, you know, Alan, if you would preach hate, you'd have to add on to this church.
You're exactly right.
If you would preach that Jesus wants you to be filthy rich, you'd have to add on to this church.
Right.
But you're preaching that God loves you. And that's why people aren't showing up, because people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
They want to get rich and they want to hate people.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not being judgmental, because I was that way when I was going to church. I went to church because it made me feel better than everybody else. And part of that evolution is no.
Yeah, right. I get it. I get why I went to church. That's the wrong reason.
But it was part of the evolution.
Right.
You know, because I will tell you, when you get baptized, like I did, you know, you do feel a little bit bulletproof. I can still do the same crap, but it's okay now.
Spiritually
It's
bulletproof.
forgiven.
Yeah,
Kind of like going to confession.
Yeah, it's great. It's like Carlin said, 3 Hail Marys and you're back on the streets.
That's right.
So.
Well, I could talk to you forever and ever. We got to get together with my wife and your wife and go out to dinner someplace.
A couple
go
of
to
Maker's Mark.
Pietro's.
I'll really get talkative after a Maker's Mark.
Have you been to Maker's Mark?
I haven't, but I got a cousin that works for them, and I got all these T-shirts.
Oh,
and all
yeah.
this Maker's Mark.
Well, it's really silly, because when you go to Maker's Mark, you got to put on these gloves and this apron, and you get to dip a bottle into the wax.
That's so cool.
And I'm like, really? I mean, you know, and they're like, yeah, it's insurance purposes and stuff. So I got the bottle, and no one's allowed to drink that bottle because I did it.
Oh, you got to keep the bottle.
Oh, yeah, you get to keep the
But
bottle.
they got a big vat of wax that you dump that in?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Oh, it's a great experience to go there.
Yeah.
So you went from religion
Hey,
to the Maker's Mark distillery.
Catholic religion and Maker's Mark go hand in hand, I'm telling you.
Well, you don't hide it. I was Baptist. You were Pentecostal, right? So they hide it.
They hide it.
All right, we're gonna go.
Hey,
Great to see
nice
you.
seeing you, buddy. Thanks
You can have 25 of my pounds, and I'll still have 25 to go.
We'll divvy it up.
Okay.
All right, partner.
Thank you, guys. Like and press share.
Thanks.